You should already have created a plan for your tunnel book by writing down each layer and what you will be adding at each layer to create the full picture in the end. In this demonstration, I've only done 4 layers. However, for the school project, you will be doing at least 6 layers. So now that you have the plan in place, you will get the pre-cut paper that you need for each layer. I'm only getting 4, you will need 6. On all of these pre-cut papers, you will need to put a 1/4 inch border around them. So you will need a ruler and pencil for this part. Mark every 1/4 inch around all the edges and then connect them to create a 1/4 inch frame around this paper. We are just going to skip ahead to the part where all 4 of my layers have a 1/4 inch border. Now that all of our layers are prepared, we are going to start with the first layer. For each layer, we will do 3 steps: draw, color, cut. So the first step is to draw what is on your plan for the first layer. The second step is to color your first layer. You can choose any medium that you feel comfortable with, whether it's color pencils, markers, oil pastels, charcoal, pen and ink, watercolor. It's your choice. I find that shading is much easier with colored pencils, so that's why I'm choosing to use that for my first layer. After you are done coloring your first layer, the third step is to cut. My design is of a girl and we're looking into her mouth, so the next layer is going to be teeth showing through. So I need to cut out this oval in the center. I'm going to be using an X-Acto knife, and you will also need a cutting mat because you don't want to cut on the table. The knife will go through the paper and then leave grooves in the table. You can find these cutting mats underneath the paper cutter, and you can get the X-Acto knives from me personally, and you will have to return them after you are done using them every time. Some tips when using the X-Acto knife: make sure that you press hard so you can get a good cut the first time instead of having to go over the same area multiple times. That way it'll pop right out like this. The other tip is that if you are cutting a straight line, sometimes I like to use a ruler as a guide, and I'll line it up with the line I'm cutting, and then my blade will fall right along the edge of the ruler. So now I'm putting my first layer on top of my second layer. so I can take a pencil and outline where it is I need to draw my next image within. So now I know that this little oval is where I need to draw my second layer. So I'm going back to my plan. What is on my second layer? The teeth. So again, draw, color, cut. I've just finished layer 2 and I have to start to work on layer 3, which is the tongue. So to know the space in which I'm able to work within, I need to lay layers 1 and 2 on top of layer 3 and outline where I am working within, and then start the 3-step process: draw, color, cut. I've just finished layer 3, so now I'm going to start layer 4, which is the uvula that hangs in the back of our throat. So I'm going to do what I've done with all of them: layers 1, 2, and 3 on top of layer 4, outline the space that I can work within, draw, color, and not cut this last layer, because this is your background layer. You should not be able, if you cut, you will be able to see through your tunnel book all the way, and that's not what we want. So you will not cut on this final layer. So I finally finished all 4 of my layers, layer 1, 2, 3, and 4. And when you put them together, they create the full picture. Now, the next step is to assemble your tunnel book, and I will show you how to do that in part 2 of the tunnel book demonstration.